You know, when you think about the U.S. Army's helicopters, they're really versatile assets, aren't they? Eyes in the sky, quick transport.
Absolutely. They play a huge role.
Okay, so let's dig into something specific here. We're doing a deep dive on the 1st Combat Aviation Brigade, the 1st CAB deploying to Joint Task Force Southern Border, JTF-SB.
Yeah, this is interesting.
What does this specific move really signal about, current border operations?
Well, there's an Army article from May 2025 that lays it out. And this deployment, it's not just another rotation,
Right.
It really gives us a window into the military support happening down there. So we're going to look at why this unit right now tells us something important.
Okay, so the article gets right into the specifics. It says April 29th, the 2nd General Support Aviation Battalion, that's part of 1st CAB, arrived at Libby Army Airfield, Fort Huachuca, Arizona. Mm-hmm. Now, a GSA, that's mostly transport logistics, right? Sort of the workhorses.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah. Troop movement, supplies, that kind of thing.
Hey, yeah.
But who they took over from is also relevant here.
Ah, right. Who was it?
They relieved the 3rd Combat Aviation Brigade from the 3rd Infantry Division.
Okay.
And this handover, it's not just changing faces. The article uses the phrase mission continuity.
Yeah, I saw that. Makes sense. You can't just, pause air support.
Exactly. Especially in an operation this complex, you need that seamless transition.
The article also said it brings fresh momentum. What do you reckon that actually means on the ground, practically?
Well, it could mean a few things. A new unit brings its own recent training experiences, maybe some different perspectives, or frankly, just renewed energy.
Prevents things getting stale.
Sort of, yeah.
Yeah.
Keeps the skills sharp, brings in maybe lessons learned from somewhere else. Now, to really get what the 1st CIB is doing there, we need to understand the bigger picture. Joint Task Force Southern Border.
JTF-SB. Sounds pretty significant. What's its main job?
So according to this article, it was activated March 2025 under U.S. Northern Command. And the objective stated is pretty direct: to seal the southern border and repel illegal activity.
Seal the border. Wow, that's a strong mandate.
It is, and the scale matches. The article talks about full-scale, agile, and all-domain operations.
All domain.
Yeah, meaning not just air and ground. It suggests integration, maybe cyber, intelligence, working together across that massive border.
How massive, did it say?
A 2,000-mile operational footprint.
2,000 miles, that's huge.
It really puts the challenge into perspective, doesn't it? And that all-domain thing means, the helicopters from 1st CA aren't working in isolation.
Right. Their surveillance feeds info to ground units, maybe.
Exactly. For a coordinated response, it's about making the whole DoD effort there more effective and efficient.
Okay, so big task force, clear mission. What about the 1st CAB specifically? Why are they suited for this? Their commander, Colonel Chad Corrigan, had a quote.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
He said they're ready because of their aggressive approach to training, flying more, flying at night, and conducting more multi-ship flights. Sounds pretty intense.
It does, and it highlights that focus on realism. More flying, night flying, formation flying, that directly prepares them for the border environment.
Where conditions aren't always ideal, I imagine.
Precisely. Low visibility, needing coordinated movement. It means they're not just trained, they're trained for this mission, which the article states is supporting Customs and Border Protection, CBP.
Okay, supporting CBP. That distinction seems important. They're not doing the law enforcement part themselves.
That's the key takeaway. It's military support for civilian agencies.
Yeah.
Leveraging their unique capabilities, like advanced aviation assets.
Gotcha.
And the article stresses this air support, it's just one piece. A critical piece, sure, but part of a bigger effort.
Right. Integrate agile all-domain support was the phrase, I think.
That's the one. Across that whole 2,000 miles.
And we get a glimpse of the other pieces, too. The article mentions the 2nd Stryker Brigade combat team.
Strikers, yeah. Rapid mobility on the ground.
The 101st Division Sustainment Brigade logistics, obviously vital.
Absolutely crucial for an operation this size.
And the 89th Military Police Brigade. So mobility, logistics, security.
It paints a picture of a very combined arms approach, doesn't it? Different units bringing their specialties together.
And the sheer number of people, over 8,500 personnel. From Army, Marines, Navy, other agencies.
Yeah, that figure really drives home the scale. It's a major joint interagency operation.
Okay, so back to the 1st CAB's specific role in all this. The article listed surveillance, troop movement, and logistical support.
Pretty fundamental tasks, right? Surveillance gives you the big picture. Troop movement gets people where they need to be quickly across that huge area.
And logistics keeps everything running. Fuel, supplies, maintenance.
Couldn't do So yeah, the article calls their role critical in day-to-day operations. That feels accurate.
There was also that quote from the top commander, Major General Scott Noman. He leads both 10th Mountain Division and JTF-SB.
Ah, yes. What did he say again?
Something like, every movement forward is a reflection of our commitment to mission readiness and joint partnership. And then we are aligning capabilities to better support DHS and Border Patrol efforts.
Right. Two key things there. Ongoing mission readiness, always being prepared, and that explicit joint partnership.
Reinforcing that support role for DHS and Border Patrol again.
Exactly. It clearly frames the military's involvement as helping the civilian agencies do their jobs.
So looking at this whole picture, the first CAB deployment isn't really a policy shift, but more like a reinforcement, a continuation with maybe a refreshed capability.
I think that's a good way to see it. It shows the Army's ongoing commitment to this support mission. Rotating in a well-trained unit like the 1st VIB ensures that capability stays high.
Keeps the aviation component of JTF-SB running smoothly.
Precisely. It's about sustaining that effective support over the long haul.
Okay, so wrapping this up then. This look at the 1st CAB heading to JTF Southern Border really underscores Army Aviation's continuous role down there.
Definitely a sustained effort.
It highlights, readiness through some pretty tough training, the importance of working hand in glove with CBP and DHS.
That joint aspect is critical.
And just the sheer scope of providing all that support, surveillance, transport, logistics across such a massive area.
And remembering, like we said, that aviation is one part, a vital part, but still one part of this much larger operation with thousands of personnel involved, all focused on supporting DHS.
It really does make you appreciate the complexity, which kind of leads to a final thought, When you consider that 2,000-mile stretch, the need to be agile, the thousands of people, what are the biggest underlying challenges, logistically and strategically, in actually maintaining that kind of large, flexible presence day in, day out? Something to chew on.